Welcome, everybody. John Zager. Hope everyone is doing well. Maybe self-healing area and neuroscience. But I'd like to talk today about wellness. And specifically, I'd like to talk about homeless people. And why do we have an aversion towards homeless people? I'll go through some of the obvious, and then we'll break it down into some more detail. But a few years ago, where I was living, the town that I still live in, actually, there was a homeless guy, and he had his dog, beautiful little dog, and he used to sit on this corner. It was a 5-way intersection, and it was pretty popular and a lot of traffic. And he would sit there year-round, good weather, bad weather, rainy weather, snow, sleet, hail, it didn't matter. And he and his dog would occupy this corner every day, for about a year. And he was a real likable guy. He interacted with people. You know, he wasn't, I don't know, I want to say he wasn't begging, but I guess technically he was, but he just was a pleasant personality and a pleasure to see. You looked forward to seeing him every day. Okay? And people would, leave him money. They were happy to leave him money. They gave him penny, nickels, dimes, quarters, of course, but majority of people gave $1, $5, $10, $20. I mean, you could see he was getting larger sums of money than maybe some of the other people that you noticed around town. And he would get clothing. I used to buy him lunch. I used to go over to a sandwich shop nearby that made hot sandwiches. They were very good. And I would buy him a hot sandwich and a drink and, I don't know, fries or onion rings or something. And I'd stop by and leave him lunch periodically. I noticed that he received coats and clothes and coveralls and, stuff other than what you noticed other homeless people receiving. Okay, long story short, at the end of a year, he was, I guess, the city decided to not allow people to panhandle out on intersections. They're back doing it now. I don't understand that, and so he had to stop. And they investigated him. The story that came out, and I'm not sure how truthful it is, but I'm sure whoever did their work was accurate with it, because it made the paper, and nobody disputed the research. The guy lived down the road about maybe a mile in a trailer park, mobile home park. I don't know if he lived with somebody or had his own trailer. I wasn't real clear about that. But every evening when the sun went down and you didn't see him anymore, he went back to his mobile home and did whatever. I don't know, ate, watched TV. I'm not sure. It sounded like he had somewhat comfortable, probably not the best of mobile homes, but okay deal. And they did more research on what he generated in a year, and it was $100,000 plus on that corner for 1 year. He made over $100,000. My immediate reaction is, yay. You know, he was motivated. He went out there and earned himself an income, even though it may not have been what you and I might perceive as generating an income. And never have seen him since. I'm sure he left town, and who knows, he might be doing that in some other town. Not sure. But I wanted to talk about him as an example. Right? Nice guy. Very pleasant, very friendly, always had a smile. Nothing fake. Everything was real. I would have believed whatever this guy would have been talking to me about. I had no reason to believe he was a crook or, doing things for the wrong reasons, I guess. And generally, the people in this town obviously felt the same way towards him. We liked him. We adopted him. And there's other stories on the internet and the 530 News and over the years about these genuinely nice people that have been homeless for probably years, and they the guy who was the guy who played the piano in, I don't know, New York City or someplace, out of the sky blue he shows up and starts playing a piano on the street, right? And he's like brilliant. and people would leave tips for him, and periodically, not regularly, but periodically he would go and play this piano. Nice guy, great disposition, quiet, reserved, not trying to offend or harm anybody, and just living his life as a homeless person. Great story. And so he got discovered. I'm not quite sure who, but somebody somewhat notable or famous or whatever picked him up and went and got him all cleaned up and haircut and new clothes and squeaky clean kind of thing, and introduced him to the right people. And I believe he now is generating an honest income. What do they say? Pianist? As a pianist somewhere. Playing the piano professionally. And they talked to him about his story, and kind of a brilliant guy, just got lost, in the shuffle, and had a couple bad breaks and didn't have the resources intellectually to know how to get himself out. Happy story, huh? Yeah, the guy with the piano. What was there? There was another guy. You don't hear very many of them, but there's success stories of people. Oh, yeah, the guy who sat on a corner somewhere in the U.S., and this was on same thing, TV, internet, or whatever, and didn't bother anybody, but real friendly and outgoing when people approached him, and never begged, so to speak, just was honest about his needs. And for 1 year, a lady would drive by every day on her way to work, and she eventually wanted to ask him some questions and sort of wanted to help him because he seemed honest. And she took him to her restaurant, I believe it was, and gave him a job. The guy's successfully working there, diligently doing everything he's supposed to do, and model employee now off the street. Has his own little abode and turned out really, really well for him. There was another story of somebody where a lady helped him. Can't remember that one right now, but there are stories like that to where, things change. So what am I saying? I'm rambling here again, as you guys know I do, because I don't prepare anything. I just talk off the top of my head. But so why do we have an aversion towards homeless people? I don't think a lot of homeless people portray themselves the way that I'm trying to describe, these 2 or 3 people. You become hardened. You become harsh. You become short. You become bitter. You become angry. You become resentful. You can see no way out. You view the $8 an hour job as them just taking advantage of you. You view the high rents as just another way of people taking advantage of disadvantaged people. And you become gruff. You let your hair go. You don't shave. You used to take a shower every other day. Now you take a shower once a week. It's hard for people to walk by those folks and not feel some aversion. They're not helping their own cause, but people, by the same token, are not helping their cause. I find that interesting. It's kind of a two-sided street, and both sides are not doing the right thing. So how does all that have to do with wellness? One more story, and maybe this will make sense. There's senior centers all over the United States, and thank goodness for senior centers. They're wonderful, right? They're places for seniors to go and hang out, and it's kind of their little deal. Happy, happy, happy. There's a senior center I ran into not too long ago that would not allow seniors in unless they paid. To me, that makes it a private club. To me, that is kind of, what do they call it, discrimination against, for instance, homeless people. They're basically saying, homeless people we don't want in here. We know they don't have any money, so if we just charge a fee for people to come in, it'll be kind of an elite club for seniors, and we don't have to put up with the homeless people, because we really don't like homeless people. I don't know if that's true. I'm just trying to figure out how they might think. So wellness works on both sides. Wellness, it's very good for a homeless person to clean up their act a little bit, go into senior centers, and communicate with other seniors. All that can do is enhance their ability to model what other healthy seniors are doing, and to see that people are not all bad, and that it's okay for them to change their views, and it's a healthy thing. Therefore, it's healthy for the owners, I don't know who that is, of senior centers, to allow seniors of all kinds, senior people of all kinds, to come in and interact and, have a cup of coffee or sit down and read the paper. Things that these people normally would not be able to do. Now, I understand you can have things like, if you're going to come in, you're welcome in here, but, clean up your act a little bit. We can't have you smelling terrible every day. Take a shower or something once in a while, and let us make your life smoother. Let us give you insight into possibilities, infinite possibilities. So the wellness works on both sides. Both the homeless people could benefit from it, and they need to do certain things, but I don't believe they need to have to pay to go into a senior center. And the owners of the senior center need to, I guess, maybe change some of their beliefs towards homeless people. There's benefits on both sides. So, wellness and homeless people. I would hope that if we see homeless people on the street, we first pause. I don't know if meditate's a good word, but pause long enough to integrate what these folks may have gone through, how they got there, and the stumbling blocks to getting out. It's kind of like professional, sports people, basketball, football. I don't know, what is it, less than 1% of people in the world actually become a professional athlete and make all that incredible amounts of money. There's probably I don't know this, my research, I don't know this, I should have looked it up. There's probably a very minute amount of homeless people that actually get out, change their life for the better. So when you're walking by these guys or gals or whoever, everybody's out there. There's more and more and more every year. Pause long enough to sort of filter through what's going on in this person's life. And how can you, if you don't believe in giving them money because, they're going to go and drink or something, or Lord forbid they might go and buy 2 eggs, 2 hard-boiled eggs for breakfast for 98 cents. If you're not into giving them money right away, maybe you could model some behavior. Model behavior where you stop long enough to acknowledge their presence as a human being. I'm not sure you have to feel sorry and pity them and make them feel less than. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying maybe it's okay to just have a conversation. They're probably not going to jump out of a bush and attack you. So maybe when you're walking down the street in New York City or some city in America and you see some homeless people there or a homeless person, maybe it's okay to just interact. What happens, they get a different perspective of you and their belief systems change, and you get a different perspective of them and your belief and perceptions change. I'm not saying that's going to happen 100% of the time. I'm not saying all homeless people are good, and I'm not saying all regular people are good. I'm just saying let's think about wellness in the world. And maybe how we address it is one person at a time. Hope you all have a good day. It's beautiful here in Colorado. And God bless everybody and take care of one another. Thank you.